OneWeb-16. All right, we got about half the station packed down, which is good. Half the station was packed down, and we will finish the night off with a launch. I'll finish up the rest of the station packing in the morning, and we absolutely will get a launch tomorrow.
And Falcon 9 has landed.
Let's do this.
On your screen is a live view of Falcon 9 awaiting its 11:50 p.m. Eastern Time launch from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral in Florida. Now tonight's launch is for our customer, OneWeb, a connectivity wholesaler that delivers high-speed, low-latency connectivity solutions to telecommunications companies, internet service providers, local governments, businesses, and communities everywhere. Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse Anderson. I'm a production engineering manager here at SpaceX, and I'll be your host for the OneWeb Launch 16 mission, which marks our 201st overall mission to date. As the mission name suggests, this is OneWeb's 16th overall launch and second with SpaceX. Similar to our previous launch with OneWeb last month, tonight's launch will also send 40 OneWeb satellites into low Earth orbit, bringing their LEO constellation to over 80% completion with 542 satellites in space. Now tonight we will deploy OneWeb satellites in 3 different deployment sequences. And as a note, part of the second and potentially the third deployment sequence will begin during a blackout period. Now, if we're able to regain connection with the second stage earlier than that, then we'll be sure to provide live coverage, so stay tuned. Now, if you're interested in reviewing the full deployment schedule, check out SpaceX.com. Now, at T-minus 11 minutes and 45 seconds, the weather, range, and vehicle are all go for launch. If for some reason we do not launch today, we do have a backup opportunity on Tuesday, January 10th at 11:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, with that, let's learn a little bit more about OneWeb and today's mission.
Think for a moment about what connectivity brings you. Is it helping you manage or grow a business, stay in contact with family and friends? Is it giving you or your family access to education or to a doctor? Is it opening doors for you to a world beyond your horizon? Of course, for many of us in big cities and large and established communities, it's doing that every day. It's essential, fundamental, it's enabling our lives. From connectivity flows a better quality of life, new horizons and greater opportunities. So what can we do to help ensure everybody can experience the benefits of connectivity? This is the OneWeb mission to bridge
It's just funny to me, man. SpaceX is straight up like, yeah, no, we're gonna let our competition broadcast their mission goals on our own stream when we're in competition with you. Don't give a frick. Frick it. Don't matter. That's pretty awesome, man.
Previously unimaginable.
That's pretty
Every
Chad
customer
Tier
connected
stuff.
via the
I'll let my
OneWeb
competition
network has
advertise
their
on my
own
channel.
story.
I don't care.
All of them are united by one thing: gaining the power of connectivity and the independence or sense of community that can bring.
OneWeb, we are a global connectivity provider powered by satellites to connect the unconnected globally. And we are doing this with a low Earth orbit constellation of 648 satellites. We run satellites 30 times closer to the Earth than traditional satellites. We do this because we can deliver high-speed connectivity to be hundreds of megabits per second, delivered to a single user terminal. Connectivity is highly concentrated around densely populated areas. OneWeb really wants to bring connectivity to remote places. With a satellite constellation, we can reach everyone, everywhere, effectively bringing on a level playing field all of these people that have been left behind.
Water is life, but connectivity is everything else, right? It's education, it's healthcare, it's being able to start your own small business. I mean, just look at all the stuff you do on a day-to-day basis in an urban environment, and think if that's cut off for even a few hours, how anxious you get. There's over 300 communities in Canada that we think will never. They're satellite communities. We don't think they'll ever have connectivity going in. They're just too far away to run fiber. They're too far away to get 4G or 5G. the only option for them will be satellite internet.
I'm taking classes to get my bachelor's degree in administration in the early childhood field. With the internet, it's made it a lot easier. I can see my professors during class. I can collaborate with my classmates.
OneWeb has helped in a lot of ways. It's more convenient for us, like ordering supplies and payments over the phone.
Like Reese's and Kit Kats. Hey, that's
it is great to
right?
work with SpaceX. They are a fantastic partner. It's been very nice and exciting to start working with them and OneWeb.
We're really looking forward to the launch with SpaceX. It's very important for us because it will enable us to extend our commercial coverage 25 degrees north to the North Pole and 25 degrees to the South Pole, and we'll be able to do that by next summer, the summer of 23.
Behave, Chad. Behave, boys.
With liftoff just 7.5 minutes from now, let's get to know a little bit more about the rocket that you're looking at there on your screen. Falcon 9 is our two-stage rocket, which stands 230 feet or 70 meters tall. Now that's roughly 20 meters taller than the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, France, which is 49 meters tall. Now, when it's fully fueled, it'll hold just over 1 million pounds of propellant that the vehicle will burn through in less than 3 minutes after liftoff. Now, we begin loading those propellants on both stages of the vehicle at T-minus 35 minutes. Now, starting from the top of the vehicle, our payload today is safely enclosed inside of the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which is the structure at the very top of the rocket. This protects the satellites from aerodynamic heating, loads,
on internal power.
Aerodynamic heating, loads, and contamination during ascent. Now, once we reach the vacuum of space, we will jettison the fairing halves while the second stage continues to orbit. Now, below the payload fairing, we have the second stage that will take the OneWeb-16 mission payload to a low Earth orbit. The satellites on board the second stage today are produced by OneWeb Satellites, a joint venture between OneWeb and Airbus located on Merritt Island, Florida.
Yeah,
second stage will ignite its single Merlin vacuum, or what we call the MVAC engine, about 2.5 minutes into flight, and then relight for a second time before we deploy the 40 satellites. Now, below the second stage, we have the inner stage, which is part of the first stage. As you can see on your screen, the carbon fiber inner stage is a distinct black color, and that's because it's unpainted TPS, or thermal protection system. Now, this protects the composite material that the inner stage is made of. At the bottom of the first stage, there are 9 Merlin engines that will get Falcon 9 off of the ground and up into the thinner parts of the Earth.
Preparing to fast forward. Prepare to fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir. Fast forwarding. Jeez, we were way far behind.
The TE also routes the vehicle's fluids, power, and telemetry umbilicals from the ground systems to the rocket and satellites until Falcon 9 goes on internal power and clears the pad. Now, at liftoff, it will retract in order to clear the way for Falcon 9's ascent.
Lower has started.
And we did hear that call out that the sequence will begin. That means that the clamp arms, which are right below the fairing there that you see on your screen, they will open up first. Once they are fully open, then the TE can begin to recline away from the vehicle. Now at T0, ground hydraulic systems will pull the TE even further away from Falcon 9 as it lifts off.
Yeah, it's fine, Stu, but I don't really want to do that, man. That's the thing.
And on your screen, it looks like the clamp arms are now just about fully open. This means that the TE will begin to retract away from the vehicle.
Yeah, you're in for a treat, dude.
Now, the first stage is connected to a launch mount at the base of the TE, but the structure is hinged and will retract away from the vehicle in preparation for launch. And it is just very slight on your screen. The TE should be almost fully reclined at this point.
He's at 89.
So at this point in the countdown, both the first and second stages are nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. Both first stage and second stage should finish prop loading about a minute apart from each other. The first stage coming up here at the T-minus 3 minute mark. Second stage will be about a minute afterwards at the T-minus 2 minute.
Load complete.
And perfect timing, there's that call out. That liquid oxygen loading is complete on the first stage. Now, the white clouds that you see around the vehicle is the chilled gas above the liquid oxygen tank liquid surface that we vent overboard to maintain pressure in the tank as needed. So when that gas comes out into the Florida air, the humid, moist air condenses into clouds or water, which is what you see there. At T-minus 60 seconds, Falcon 9 will be in startup. This means that the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers have taken over the launch countdown. Just inside T-minus 2 seconds, we light the Merlin 1D engines for liftoff. The OneWeb Launch 16 payload continues to be healthy, and the Falcon 9 team is tracking no issues on the vehicle.
Jesse's doing all
Weather
the
is
talking,
still looking
guys.
good for T0, and the range is green for launch. So if for some reason we do not launch today, we do have a backup opportunity on Tuesday, January 10th at 11:45 p.m. Eastern Time.
Can you believe that, man? Yeah, there's a Falcon 9 on 40. There's a Falcon Heavy on 39A. Starship
I'm
is
just
on
waiting for the call out for propellant loading on stage 2.
Stage 2, lock.
Starlink is at Vandenberg.
Perfect timing.
Dude.
There's that call out.
That's crazy, man.
With prop loading complete on stage
Teeing
2,
it up,
that
dude.
concludes propellant loading on Falcon 9,
Okay, gas
which means it's
closeout
now
on the
fully
TEs.
loaded with 1
Working.
million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen.
One of every SpaceX rocket
Now
is
you can
prepping
kind
for
of
flight.
see a lot more of those white clouds that I mentioned on your screen.
And Dragon's coming back.
That is because we are venting out the liquid oxygen line on that transporter erector. We are just clearing out the line in preparation for liftoff. Coming up next is Falcon 9 in startup. Again, that will be where the internal flight computers take over the launch countdown. That is because this Falcon 9 vehicle is autonomous.
Yeah, Devlin, launch all the things, man. T-minus 1 minute.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Okie
And
dokie.
great news, Falcon 9 is now in startup. We are now just waiting for the launch director's final call.
SpaceX Launch Director, go for launch.
LD reports go for launch.
And excellent news, all systems are go for launch of Falcon 9 with the OneWeb Launch 16 mission payload.
That's what I was saying, nervous. It's just, yeah, that's no big deal, right? Like, come on. 30 seconds.
T-minus 30 seconds.
That's what I just said. Okay, you should see the sound suppressors turn on at T-minus 10. And then around T-minus 2 or 3, you should see a nice big green flash going on down here.
15 seconds.
Tire 4 ignited fluids will light up 9 engines here.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7,
Sound
6,
suppressors are on.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Green flash.
1. Engines full power. And liftoff of Falcon 9.
Flying
Go
tonight.
Falcon, go OneWeb 2.
Second OneWeb launch for Falcon 9.
Pitching down range.
76. It's off the pad here on its second flight. T plus 25. That looks real good. Boosted to the got a little bit of residual flames.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from pad 40 at Cape Canaveral, carrying the OneWeb Launch 16 mission payload. Now, during ascent, we tilt the engines, which is what we call gimbaling.
Power and telemetry.
That turns the rocket horizontally, which is what we call a gravity turn.
What's that?
And we're still going up, but we are now also heading horizontally away from the launch pad.
Vehicle supersonic.
Moments ago, we did throttle down the engines on the first stage in preparation for Max Q, which is coming up here in a few seconds.
It looked like one of the additional turbo pump dumps. got
Great
lit on
news, we
fire,
have
guys.
just passed through the
happened
largest
quick.
structural load that the vehicle sees on ascent.
Okay, we're past maximum.
Really
magnetic
awesome
pressure.
views here of the first stage vehicle. Now the rocket typically needs to go 17,500 miles per hour horizontally in order to avoid being pulled back down to Earth and to get into orbit. So you can keep an eye out on the stage 1 telemetry, and that's on the bottom left hand of your screen.
No, Vulcan.
Again, incredible views of the first stage vehicle,
right before that, I just
first
said
stage
that was
engines
normal.
lighting up there. We do have 5 events coming up here,
all at once,
back to back. That will be MECO, main engine cutoff, stage separation, stage 1 flip, SES-1, the boost back burn on the first stage, and then we will also have the fairing halves deploy. Again, that is a few events happening in quick succession: MECO, stage separation, stage 1 flip, SES-1, boost back burn, and fairing deploy.
I mean, clearly it's not a big deal because the thing, she rolling. Okay, there's main engine cutoff.
And MECO. Stage separation confirmed.
Got a good stage separation. 1076 will now turn around to go and land.
And back ignition.
There, see?
Stage 1, boost back startup.
Stiffener ring separation, MVAC ignition look good. You can see the first stage.
There we have just seen all of those events. Really cool views. We had MECO, stage separation, stage 1 flip, which you can kind of see in the background of the second stage vehicle's view. Awesome view here of the first stage in its boost back burn right now.
What you're seeing is the first stage plume interacting with the second stage plume as they pull away from each other. It creates that nebula effect. Really, really cool.
Now next up will be the conclusion of the first stage boost back burn, and then shortly after followed by the fairing deploy.
Stage 1, boost back shutdown.
Okay, boost back shutdown on the first stage.
And there you can see on your left-hand screen as those engines shut down on the first stage. That concludes the boost back burn for the first stage vehicle.
Fairing sep.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Good stuff.
And also got an awesome view of fairing deploy there on your screen.
This one right here. Or on the, you're talking about
now
the
those fairing halves.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Dumps the exhaust overboard.
Those fairing halves, one flew for a 6th time and the other for a 7th time, and we will be attempting to retrieve these fairing halves again today once they fall back down to Earth using our recovery vessel dug today.
Well,
now we are T plus 4 minutes and about 15 seconds into today's mission, and we are in the first of 2 planned MVAC burns before satellite deployment.
Fort Lauderdale, Satellite Beach.
Now on your screen on the left-hand side is a view from the first stage. It is a little bit dark there, but when we do come up on the entry burn, which is at T plus 6 minutes and 20 seconds, you should see those 3 engines reignite on your screen.
Back over there.
And that entry burn is where we reignite these 3 engines, and that helps slow the vehicle down as it passes back into the Earth's atmosphere. Now we need to slow the vehicle down to reduce re-entry forces, which helps us recover and reuse the first stage vehicle.
Okay, there's 528.
Now, during the entry burn, Falcon 9 is decelerating by firing its Merlin engines. We're also still moving rapidly, so this causes the vehicle to fly through its Merlin exhaust gases, which is also what we refer to as the rocket's plume. And this deposits
Port Canaveral's right there,
of
528.
soot
Yeah,
on the
you can see all of Fort Lauderdale
surface.
over there.
Now that soot comes from the carbon-based fuel that Falcon 9 uses.
The landing pad is right where my mouse cursor is. There's Orlando. You can see I-4 right there.
From that entry burn beginning on the first stage.
There's 528. It splits right there, and then it goes that way. There's 50.
Stage, looking at that MVAC engine glowing very bright there.
Satellite Beach is right there. Cocoa Beach is right there. Once again, Port Canaveral, SR401.
Stage 1 is making its way back to land, and you can see the Cape Canaveral.
And I think it's time for supersonic retropropulsion.
A little bit. It will perform 3 burns for landing. It already.
What's the fairing mean? The fairing is that thing at the top that holds the payload. It makes sure the payload doesn't get obliterated by air. Oh, that's
Stage 1, entry burn startup.
See Port St. John right there. Okay.
Great news. As you heard that call out and can see on your screen, we have reignited 3 of the 9 M1D engines on the first stage. That's the center E9 engine, followed by the E1 and E5 engines.
Stage 1, entry burn shutdown. Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Why not Waterland?
It's less than a 20-second burn, and
Polar
as you can
orbit
see,
swap.
the engines have shut down. That concludes the entry burn for the first stage
Both
vehicle.
vehicles continue to follow nominal trajectories.
Some plasma accumulation on the grid fin right there.
Now we are just about 30 seconds away from the landing burn beginning on the first stage vehicle.
Cape Canaveral Space Force Station.
It is just the E9
Kennedy Space
engine
Center
that
is
will
right there.
ignite for landing. And the M1D engines
Range
have
is
about
right
190,000 pounds of thrust. So one engine reigniting is just enough to help slow the vehicle down in time to
Stage
touch down
1
for landing.
Stage 1 is out of the supersonic regime, below Mach 1.2.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Flight termination.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Okay, landing burn has started on the first stage. Stage 2 flight termination system is saved.
There you can see the landing burn has begun on Falcon 9. Let's
Landing
watch
burn on
as the first stage
1076.
touches down on landing zone 1.
Sonic booms heard at the Kennedy Space Center. Landing leg deploy.
Landing leg deploy.
That's what I just said. Easy.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Wow, an awesome view of our land landing.
she
As
burped
you
a
just
little
saw,
bit.
Falcon
See
9
that?
has touched down on landing zone 1. That marks SpaceX's 162nd recovery of an orbital class rocket,
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
and that includes first stage landings for both Falcon 9
No good.
and Falcon Heavy. Now coming up shortly here, we will have
nice, T-Man.
SECO 1, that is second stage engine cutoff 1. That is where we will shut down this MVAC
That's
engine
cool, Corsi. That's
and
really
allow the
cool.
vehicle to coast with a payload before its second burn, and that's coming up here in just a few seconds.
Stand by for the call for SECO. Yeah, okay, Devlin. You saw it too. Alright, cool. Stand by for the call for nominal orbital insertion.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And great
Let's
news,
go.
we have had SECO 1 as well as that call out confirming
Standing
a
by to
good
go for
orbit.
hamster.
Now the mission isn't over just yet. The second stage is now embarking on its first coast phase. After the coast phase, we will light that MVAC engine for a second time around T plus 55 minutes. We'll see you back here in about 45 minutes, and in the meantime, enjoy the space tunes.
What's the metal honking sound, Swordfish? The metal honking sound that you're hearing is SpaceX's cafeteria. I'm serious. It's the cafeteria in Hawthorne, California. It's people eating lunch that are on second shift. Actually, that's third shift, but whatever. Yeah. Once every 5 years, Duval. How about them Jags? Yeah. We're here, Stu. Yeah, we're gonna watch it. Chairs are squeaky. It's second shift nervous? Yeah, okay, cool. I was right. So I'll show you guys what I saw here.
Fully lifted off.
I know that flames going up in here is normal, but watch. It just all of a sudden just goes. Pfft. See what I mean? Yeah, looking back at it, I mean, it crawled up a little bit faster than. See what I mean? See how quickly that happens? That is flames getting sucked up, but it's going up next to the umbilical right there. A couple of times, Mammon, yeah. 9 p.m. Yeah, second. Might be leaving in a bit and grabbing food. It's third shift. There you go. Okay, Kelly, you're wondering about those lines right there? Those are the vent down lines. So when they start thermally conditioning the engine, they don't want to. The dump line is right there. They don't want to vent that into the inner stage because when the motor ignites, you could have gaseous oxygen inside of the inner stage and have a residual explosion. So if you look, Those guys right there are taking the gaseous oxygen vent lines and a couple of other things. They pull it out of the interstage and dump it over the side. That's what those are there for. What booster was this? This was 1076 on its second launch. Yeah, the flames traveling up the booster is normal, guys. It just happened. That just happened in a weird way that I haven't seen it go that quick up the side before. Like, watch. That's normal. See, that happens. But then it just kind of comes out and up. Like, see how quickly that happens? It usually doesn't go that fast, but... And then... And then when that booster came back down, it looks like that engine coughed a little bit right at landing. Watch. They shut the engines off and then it goes bleh. Yeah, Devlin. Watch. Oh, she burped a little bit. Falcon burped a little bit. Guys, that's residual. That's all residual thrust, dudes. That's not that big of a deal. Vandenberg scrubbed. This is right at stage separation. Look at it. It looks great. That's awesome, dude. Great picture. Yeah, that happens. Shutting off a rocket motor, guys, is like shutting off a garden hose, right? So, like, if you you have a sprinkler going, it's water in your lawn, you shut it off. There's still water in the lines, and when you go to undo the hose and you go to, wrap the hose up, you're just gonna get water everywhere. Rocket engines the same way. Even when they shut off the taps, so to speak, there's still a little bit in there that gets caught up, and it looks like some of that residual did find a source of ignition, and hence the burp. That happens. That's normal. That bit coincides with the post-landing vent. Probably found an ignition source. Yep. Yeah, Felix. Sometimes it does that. Yeah, she burped a little bit. It's more like shutting off the garden hose by kinking the line. Hey, Jacka, don't kink shame, okay? Yeah, other than that, pretty textbook launch. The flames just propagated on the bottom in a way that I haven't seen before. But, hey, whatever. And that motor burped. But other than that, everything looked good. We got a good call for nominal orbit insertion. But we do not have a ground station right now. Yeah, it looked fine to me, Yard. Are the turbopumps still spitting post-landing as well? Does the impeller have a brake? That's a good question, MotoKid. They do no, it doesn't have a brake. They just spin them down. They just let them spin down. They'll stop pretty fast, dude. We'll have to check the onboards to see how it looked on the engineering cams. Yeah, Devlin. Yeah, do it. I mean, MotoKid, like, no worries. Just more people have done that and know how the flow doesn't stop quickly or cleanly. Yeah, indeed. It was a joke, man, but all right. MotoKid, yeah, the turbo pumps just spin down, dude. They spin down. In fact, if I'm understanding Raptor right, MotoKid, Raptor is capable of rapid restart because the turbo pumps, they keep the turbo pumps spun after they shut the engine off. They keep them spinning, which is so they can like shut and stop, like turn off a Raptor and turn it right back on a couple seconds later by. They're basically, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but they're able to rapidly restart Raptor engines, which is nuts. Yeah, they stay primed. But how does it stay primed without spraying fuel all over the place, dude? It's kind of nuts what it does, actually. Yeah, it's literally, yeah, exactly, Spoon. That's a good way to explain it. Literally turbo pump anti-lag. I don't know how the frick they're doing it. Dude, we'll probably never know, but it's damn impressive. In terms of the Merlin engines, though, I'm pretty sure they just spin down. Like, I don't know. That kind of stuff is kind of... I wonder why the DoD even needs them to do that. Don't know. Dude, I don't... Yeah, exactly. What is the use case for that? Engine out capability during landing, maybe? Rapid restart tests are fun, especially when you're by yourself at night. Dude, I bet. Yeah, Dr. Jones, something like that. I mean, it's actually pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts what they're trying to do. But yeah, they probably just spin down. Sounds like a crown jewel SpaceX tech. Something like that, dude. Could it be fluid autogenous pressurization in a partially closed loop to keep the pumps spinning? Well, fluid autogenous pressurization is a pneumatic function. Firework, not fluid. So you can't have fluid autogenous pressurization, at least not with Raptor. I'm sure that exists in some way, shape, or form. Are you equipped in telescopes too? Nah, not really, Stu. I guess it would be repumping the fuel back into the tank to maintain the flight pressure. I think it does have something to do with autogenous pressurization, Jaka. I think Firework is right in that regard, but not with the fluids. It's just a bleed to keep the generators going. Cool. We do not have an update here. 28,451 because there is loss of signal. There is a ground station down here, though. That's cool, see? Unrelated. Flying a Vision Jet in Flight Sim right now. This feature doesn't work in the sim, but there's an emergency auto land button that the passenger can click, and the plane literally picks an airport, sets the transponders to emergency, and sets the displays to a passenger-friendly mode with information on how to use the radio. It lands itself, which is nuts. What's the RPM of a Merlin 1D? I don't know. I don't know the exact number, T-Man. It's got to be over 10,000. Easily over 10,000 RPM. Like, that's probably way off the mark. It's probably double, triple, quadruple that. These motors got to spin super fast, dude. Thanks for the secondary hosting, and have a good night. All right, Jaka, see you, buddy. 30,000 RPM. Yeah, what's crazy is Raptor spins faster than that. Should be getting in contact with Punta Arenas sometime soon. Yeah, well, yeah, Devlin, exactly. We'll see the ticker here. Punta Arenas. I forgot the name of the damn station. That's crazy nervous. Turbochargers spin at 10,000 RPM. So what, RB? Turbochargers are moving gases. Gases are easier to move than liquids, moron. Bruh. Come on. Come on. You're killing me right now, man. I'm kidding. For the people that are watching this stream for the first time, me and RB like giving each other crap. Just in case I'm not just beating down on my viewers. Just saying it's fast. I'm saying you're fast. Got him. If they can spin 100K, then dude, I'm gonna slap you. Offended. I'm sorry you feel that way. You know what else is fast? My chat. Oh, yeah, yeah. Are the engines on Raptor gimbaled? Some of them are, Celtic, yeah. Some of them are fixed. It depends. You know what else is not fast? Your Patriots. That doesn't even make sense. Did you even try? That's what she said. Did you even try? Should be getting a ground signal here. No, I didn't, but I'm tired. Okay, fair. No, seriously though, RB, just because a turbocharger can spin moving air at 100,000 RPM doesn't mean that a turbo pump can. Because you're literally moving more things. Gas is not as dense as liquid, right? So $100,000. I'm thinking I want. There we go. We got Punta Arenas. Wow, that's in a weird spot. Just because like a turbocharger could spin at 100,000, dude, trying to spin a turbo pump at 100 grand is unreal. That's like really difficult to do because once again, liquid versus gas. If a turbo pump spins that fast, it's breaking the sound barrier. What? Give it a second. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, Celtic. Ah, there we go. Okay, we have updated telemetry here. How can the second stage teleport? It was probably start me up. Spin at like 37,000. I can't believe they got that thing to spin like that in the 70s, Rocket Guy. That's pretty damn impressive. Oh, I know, but also a bearing that can take 100,000 RPM like nothing is pretty poggers. Agreed? Agreed? Speaking of gimbaling, is it normal to have a rocket only have a certain amount of engines gimbal while other ones are stationary? It simplifies the design builder for sure. Yeah, absolutely. SpaceX sets the bar, Maverick. SpaceX casts are top tier professional. Like if I was any of these small sat companies, I would aim to emulate like this. This or NASA, you know. Can we take a Merlin engine and put it into a transmission, like make a car out of it? I suppose you could use the turbine to make shaft horsepower if you wanted to, but yeah, that probably wouldn't work too well, T-Man. Booster! I think so, Bill, yeah. When does second stage engine start, Celiot? About 25 minutes out. I'm just saying a Merlin type of engine in a car could make all the horsepower you want. For a Q&A in 2018, Merlin turbo pump runs at about 36,000. It's pretty good. There's the satellites right here. The solar panels are folded up against the satellites like that. And they'll fold up and out like this. Produces 10,000 horsepower. Trevor got some shots. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he did. Look at the dog leg trajectory that the stage takes. Oh, wow. There's the boost back burn up there. There's the supersonic retro propulsion, and then there's the landing burn. See, it's like an infinity sign. That's crazy. Imagine driving a car that had 50% minimum throttle. You'd need one hell of a torque converter for that. I always understood that the commentator said boosters in ignition. Liftoff, not boosters in... Can we just pretend he said boosters in... The exhaust at the drag race would be so toxic, a giant dirty black cloud of partially burnt kerosene. And it'd be cool to see, Bill, I'm not gonna lie. I need to go over there. There we go. Falcon Heavy is this weekend. Flights are cheap, but I'm having very fiscally irresponsible thoughts right now. T-Man, yeah, that's right. Trevor Malman is the guy's name, Liquidator. I mean, T-Man, you don't need to put a turbo pump. A gas turbine from a helicopter would be plenty. That's plenty of horsepower. I mean, 10,000 horsepower. I don't think that Merlin engine is going to make a lot of torque. You know? Panther. Yeah, RB, I know what you mean. Can I fit it in a Miata though? Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, T-Man, look up, you want to look up gas turbine dragster here, so YouTube, gas turbine dragster. Here, how about this? Here we go. That's awesome. Yeah. Gas turbine minivan. Yeah! That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I was wondering what would be fuel efficient. What would the fuel efficient? It's miles per gallon at that point, T-Man. Oh, what a shot. Something like that, Maverick, yeah. Hey, thanks for the bits a little bit ago. Oh, we could make this. What's this? Oh, you want a turbojet powered truck. Differences. I'll take the gas turbine over the turbojet. Turbojets are gonna get you killed. So the thing about it, guys, is that, you know, with a turbo pump, the turbo pump is designed to move a fluid impeller, and that's about it. And, like, don't get me wrong. You could take apart a turbo pump, and I'm sure with the right engineering, you can hook it up to a transmission. It's totally doable. The thing about that, though, is that a gas turbine will do literally the same thing, and it already has a drive shaft output. So it would be easier to just use a gas turbine, which is basically just it's a turbo. It's a turbojet, but it's a turbojet that's designed to spin a drive shaft, right? Helicopters, for instance, have gas turbines. They have turbo shafts. It's a jet engine that's designed to spin a drive shaft instead of creating thrust, right? That would be a lot easier to make do car go fast like minivan. Sentences. What's the deal with the Starlink launch tonight? Starlink launch is... And you could warn them, Spoon, if you only spoke Jovitos. Hakana Matusu. Mufasa. We have LOS through Punta Arenas. When's the Starlink launch, EJ? Can we have a Starlink launch tonight? No, chat. We have Starlink at home. Starlink at home. Gas turbine powered tanks nearly exist. The Abrams. Yeah. Yeah, the M1. The M1 has a helicopter engine in the back. You love the streams too? Yeah, I try, dude. I try. It uses the same engine as an Apache. That's correct. You tossing that can like that made me want my own house. It takes time, MotoKid. Ain't gonna happen overnight. But think about it, dude. All you really need to do is have some pretty steady income and just save money. Save up 15, 20, 30 grand. You can do that in a year or two if you're really careful, right? That's enough for a down payment on a house. Easy peasy. You know? It won't be much, but it's yours. I mean, dude, my house is not that good. I lucked out with the garage, guys. I lucked out. That was just a sheer stroke of luck. But my house isn't that big. The garage is bigger than the house. It really depends on when you live. Yeah, but your pay reflects cost of living, Kaiser. There you go, Kelly. I mean, Brimo and I, to buy this house, MotoKid, for what it's worth, we had 25 G's saved up. That's about it. That was enough, dude. That was enough to get our foot in the door. All the houses here are going to 100K over assessment and are going to cash buyers. So you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Yeah, of course, Spoon. God, guys, my house is over 500, guys. So, I mean, it was over 500 easily. It's Massachusetts, dude. It was not cheap. How hot was the market in Boston? So there's this thing where I'm at, Sephorian. There's this thing in Massachusetts. There's no inventory. There's not inventory. They jack the rates. There's still no inventory. My house is appreciated in equity since I bought it in 5 months. It's like, last time I checked, it was like 20 G's over what we paid for. Great shot right there. The new Abrams hybrid is a power pack that they can shut down the gas turbine for short sprints that require stealth, whatever that is, with a tank. Nice. So better than the Patriots, huh? You dick. What can you get in Florida? You know what, Blinka? In a nice place, about the same. Believe it or not, I looked. Florida, you know, if you want to just move to Florida, anywhere in Florida. Yeah, I was looking at Port St. John, and, you know, a $500,000 in Port St. John will get you, like basically the Space Coast. It'll get you something real nice. Like real nice. But honestly, you won't get a place that has as big a land as what I have here. Or TCU. TCU got railed, Airborne. That was embarrassing. People were telling me the score, dude. They got railed. I can't believe that. That's like dude, I'd be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Depending on the state, too, you can get a first-time homeowner credit. Yeah, we took advantage of that stuff, One Eye. Yep. 0% down payment with USD loans. I paid 5% down on mine. That's pretty normal now. Yeah, there you go. Guys, the thing is it's not as unobtainable as you might think. Look at me. I'm a moron, and look at my house. We figured it out. As a Michigan fan, I'm so pissed off. Yeah. There's Antarctica. Savage Panda Man. You've never seen your house. The house is about as big as the garage, man. Not even kidding. Big brain and have wit. Stop that. I always have to take myself down a peg or two, Stufu, because if I'm not, you guys will. I'm the strimmer. You have to stick it to strimmer. Your country requires 20% deposit. Ew. Yeah, but you had Primo to cancel that out. Hey, Devlin, where's this signal coming from here? What ground station are we through right now? Yeah, Wisp, there you go. Take a Blackhawk turbo shaft and your car will go fast as hell. Yeah, of course. Troll satellite station. Yeah. But yeah, MotoKid, just save. Save up for a down payment, dude, and then, you know, find a good realtor. They'll hook you up, dude. Remember, the realtor wants you to buy a house, so they'll find you something. You'll find something cool. It's Troll right now, Blinga. I think we're too far over the horizon for Tasmania. Saving for a down payment right now, to be honest, plus the emergency fund. Yep, Troll satellite station. Thank you, Aqualux. The average house price here is $823. Yeah, it's expensive where I'm at too, dude. Try living in California. I mean, 619 Massachusetts is just as bad, dude. Ohio's like one of the cheapest. Hang on. They just had AOS through Troll. Or did he call loss of signal? Yeah, there are inexpensive places to live, guys. The thing is that the inexpensive places to live are in the middle of the country, and nobody wants to live there. They're not bad places to live, dude. What's a gallon of gas around here? Out on the Cape, 619, where I'm at, it's $3. Vandenberg got scrubbed, though, force. Yeah, gas is $3 right here. Not too bad. It's 480 where you're at. It's okay. It's not bad. Dude, once I got out of the city, 619, so like, I'm in like the Massachusetts equivalent of like Ramona, dude. Like, I'm a little ways out. Dude, it's chill. It's chill as hell. I love it out here. I love it. I love not living in the city. The city's cool, don't get me wrong. Like, it's cool. Because you have everything. Everything is like right there. But, dude, oh, I like it out here. It's nice. Yeah, dude. Frickin', yeah, Ramona. I'm like out in the middle of nowhere. Well, not in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of nowhere for Massachusetts. You know what I mean? No, we got about another 10-15 minutes airborne. How's your neighbors? Awesome. Down here, like before you get too far out on the Cape, Sephorian, it's all working class, dude. So like I'm at the crux of where the South Shore and the Cape kind of meet. So it's all working class people, just normal people. That's what I like being around, dude, because in the city you don't get normal people. If you're from the city, you know what I mean. I saw an Iowa E85 was $1.74 a gallon, but they're known for all that gas made out of corn. Yep. We got a dusting this morning, Spoon, but it didn't stick. If I did your conversion, what is it per liter, Radix? Gas right now in the US, if I'm doing my conversions right, is about €1 per liter. Yeah, Crassy, you're at 160. It's about one. It's a little under €1 a liter right now. Oh God, you're in Ontario and it's 160. Same in Quebec. $2.7 in Texas. Bro, that sucks. Hey Stu, you see the shirt I got on, dude? I don't like this whole side going on here, but it's an 06 shirt, so we're okay. I don't like this going on down here, but whatever. Whatever. 179? Gee. It's 179 per liter. Yeah, Radix, I paid to fill up the car this morning for about, it was like 98 euro. 98 cents for a liter, something like that. Yeah, man. And dude, that's high. These gas prices are high over here, dude. It's usually like 2018, 2019, we were at like 60 cents. 60 cents a liter. Yeah. Or it was about $1.90 a gallon. It's $1.90 a euro, Salyut, in northern Italy. 1.67 a liter. Oh. Sorry, dudes. So Tom Brady's going to win a Super Bowl again this year. Watch. No way. The Bills won't let that happen. The Bills won't let that happen. It was $2 a liter in Germany during the summer when I was there. Damn, son. 195? Oh, that sucks. The Lions would have won if the Rams didn't throw. Oh, Spoon, don't even get me started, man. The Lions pulled out all the stops, dude. Misdirection pitch, the flea flicker. Oh my god, dude, that pissed me off so much, man. Dude, we were watching it. It was a great game. Seeing Aaron Rodgers choke made me happy, dude. I've seen it hit €2.45 per liter in the summer here. $2.45? That's over $10 a gallon. Audrey, it was textbook. Very good. We should be getting up to satellite deploy here in another 10 minutes. That's it. Now, are you glad you're kind of a Lions fan? T-Man, I've always liked the Lions. I liked the Lions when Caldwell was the coach. Lions have always been my second team. It's because I like Detroit. I liked Detroit even before I started dating Bremo. I've always liked Michigan. Because Carr. Because Ferd. They stuck the landing 619, literally textbook. The engine burped up a little bit of residual there, like a carb backfire, but it was alright. Element. Spoken like a true skull, my friend. Oh, you get why we walked by. Yeah, I mean, $10 a gallon. Over $10 a gallon sucks, dude. How have you guys not gotten really upset about this? RC, you were at the Seahawks game. We were all Lions fans last night. I hate me too, man. Nah, because Barry Sanders. Yeah, I mean, that probably had something to do with it. 1.2 liter diesel Fiats or something. I can't believe that. You guys are getting hamstrung, man. That sucks. So let's see if we got an AOS through Perth here. You drove 4 hours and froze your butt off in section 115 to watch the pack lose. Oh, Gary, now I feel kind of bad. I mean, we got humiliated by the Bills over here. That was tough to watch, but I'd imagine you're somewhat in the same boat. Pack got humiliated by the Lions. Oh, God. EJ secretly a Red Wings fan? Nah, I'm a Bruins fan first and foremost. If the Bruins aren't in, then it's the Red Wings. I know username. Yeah, Salute, I know, it sucks, dude. Serious. NFC is bad this year. Whatever team makes it to the Super Bowl should get stomped. Zanzibar, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, dude, the Bills are too good. Unless they go the historically traditional route, dude, I think the Bills are going to win. They're too good, man. Josh Allen's an animal. He's too good. He's too freaking good, dude. I think it's going to be 49ers and the Bills, Kill, to be honest with you. So you're also secretly watching? Airborne, you'd be surprised how often I have a sporting event on the other monitor. Yeah, Aqualex, yeah, I get it. You know, it's the whole renewable hydro, we got to wean yourself off hydrocarbons, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I understand that, but see, there's a problem. Oil is a really good battery. It's a real good way to store energy. I'm not saying it's the best way, but it's a really good one. Oil is a really good battery, guys. It's really good. This Is Us TV show. I don't know what that is. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, electric battery tech is there, but guys, honestly, oil inside of a 55-gallon drum is a insanely good battery. The energy density is really good. Like, real good. Like, you're not gonna get, like, the only things that are a little better than that are nuclear, you know what I mean? And maybe liquid natural gas, like. Yeah, there you go, Salian. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Oil is very green. It's organic oil. Synthetic oil? No. We need grass-fed, non-GMO, organic oil. It's green. Hate to break it to you. Actually, oil is a good one-time use battery. So, the energy density is higher, Alien. Alright, Jam. See you, buddy. Enjoy Tamper. Okay, we're coming up on second stage engine start here. Can I borrow someone's oil charger? Mine's running low. I think they call that an oil well, son. I'm hoping next season Detroit makes the playoffs. Yeah, me too. Yeah, everything looked good, Vasya. Yeah, everything is sweet, man. Yeah, Kaiser. How short is this burn? About that short. But you can get many more miles out of a reusable battery than out of a full tank of gas. About this short. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, but the battery recharging, I don't think you should compare battery recharging to a full tank of gas that you can only use once. You know what I mean? Well, Aqualex, it goes back to what I was saying about people being wimps about spending money. Nobody wants to take any risk to get these breakthrough technologies. There is one guy that I know of that takes the risk, you know what I'm saying? And he gets a lot of crap. There's one guy that's trying to figure that one out, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's actually trying to fix things. And freaking appreciate the crap out of him for it. Tank is the battery. Gas is the juice. Yep. Why don't we just take the future and move it over here? Yeah, we're talking about Twitter. Yep. You must be talking about the GM CEO. Oh, I could say something. I'm not going to, but I think you know what I'm going to say. I'm gonna hold my tongue on that one, bro. Yeah, Aqualex, I know. I don't like it either, man, for what it's worth. And that's somebody that's, you know, that's coming from me who, I love my gasoline cars, you know what I'm saying? But I agree with you. This penny pinching, quick buck bull crap, dude, is terrible for us. You know, throwaway culture. You know, I don't know why anybody hasn't barked up this tree yet, you know? Like, everything is cheap. Everything is made crappy. Everything is made bottom dollar. Like, if your TV breaks, you don't fix it. You throw it away and you buy a new one. Not very sustainable. Yeah, throwaway culture is gonna. Dude. I think that's the worst. That's an environmental disaster waiting to happen. You know. Mary Barra, the leader of the EV revolution. Oh, you guys are making it hard. Making it hard not to say something. Oh, God, okay.
Acquisition signal, Diego Garcia.
We have an AOS through Diego Garcia. Here we go. Spoon. Louis Rossman gets on that. That tree is being barked up. Don't worry. I've listened to Louis Rossman before, Aqualex. Yeah. No, dude. I think it's terrible. I think, dude. That's why I have my old cars. My old cars, dude. You know, people can sit here and give me crap about V8. We have AOS through Maldives. You can sit here and give me crap about, you know, my gas guzzling truck and stuff, but dude. As far as I'm concerned, that's not a car that's going to the junkyard. It's not those things aren't going into a landfill. They're saved from the crusher. I think that's much better for the environment, dude, to be honest with you.
We successfully recovered the first stage back on landing zone 1, and this was the second landing for this booster, as well as the second stage has completed its first burn. Now we are just about 45 seconds away from the second ignition of the MVAC engine, which will carry the second stage and the OneWeb-16 mission payload into the orbit needed to deploy the satellites. Now this burn will be super short. It lasts only just a couple of seconds, but is enough thrust to allow the vehicle to coast to its next targeted drop-off orbit for the payload. Now again, we are just about 15 seconds away from SES-2, or second stage engine start 2, and SECO-2, which is second stage engine cutoff 2.
Don't drive it into the ground, Ian. Take care of it so it lasts longer. Seconds. You're literally, even if you have a gasoline car, if you take care of your car and it lasts longer, I don't think people realize the amount of energy it takes to make an automobile. The amount of energy that it takes, the amount of carbon emissions it takes to make a car surpasses that car's useful lifetime by a long shot in terms of emissions. Go look this up. So the longer that you drive your car and the longer that you drive your car and stay driving your car, the lesser of a carbon footprint you're making.
Nominal orbit insertion.
We have NOI on the second stage. We didn't see it though.
And great news, we did have confirmation of a good orbit. That means that we did have SES-2 and SECO-2. The OneWeb Launch 16 mission payload is now still attached to Falcon 9's second stage. Now coming up next, we do have 3 separate deployments of all 40 satellites. Now the first set of satellite deployments is scheduled to occur in just a couple minutes from now. After the first block of satellites are deployed, the second and third deploy sequences will likely begin in a blackout period. Now, once we regain connection to our second stage, we'll come back live to confirm successful deployments of the satellites that deployed during the blackout period and cover the rest of the deployments left in each sequence. Now, luckily, we should have coverage of the entire first deployment sequence, which will deploy 14 satellites. Now, deployment should start here in just a little over a minute and a half from now. But if you're just now joining us, welcome to our webcast for the OneWeb Launch 16 mission. So far, we've had a nominal mission with liftoff at 11:50 p.m. Eastern Time from Space Launch Complex 40 in Florida. We also had a successful recovery of the first stage for the second time for this booster. Stage 2 has now completed its 2 burns for this mission. And again, we are just about a minute away from the first payload deployment sequence. Again, that is the first of 3 sequences for deploying the payloads on this mission.
How many sats are on there?
Just as a reminder, we should have full live coverage for the first deployment sequence, but the second and third deployment sequence may begin in a blackout period. If so, then we will confirm the deployments that happen during that blackout period, and then we will be live for the remainder of the satellites that are deploying during those sequences. Now, as a reminder, OneWeb is a connectivity wholesaler that provides connectivity solutions at scale in pursuit of bridging the digital divide around the world. Now, today's mission will mark OneWeb's 16th overall launch and bring their LEO constellation to over 80% completion with 542 satellites in space.
Look at that.
Now, we are just a few seconds away from the first set of satellites beginning to deploy from the second stage, so let's listen into the nets and keep our eyes on the live screen there.
Turn the light bulb off, please. Krasno, I think turning that light bulb off would be extraordinarily bad. I don't want that to happen. It flickers from time to time.
OneWeb sat Alpha 1
oh, there
and
it
Alpha
goes.
5.
We don't want it to shut off. Just for a second, Madam, I don't want that.
Callouts there. We've had the first 2 satellites deploy.
Okay, you saw it deploy up there. Let's see.
OneWeb sat Alpha 4 and Alpha 8. Separation confirmed.
I saw it up there, top left.
And there we've had the second set of satellites deploy. That confirms 4 of the 14 in this first deployment sequence.
Okay, it should be coming up to the second sequence here in a moment. I think.
We're currently in
OneWeb sat Bravo 1 and Bravo 5. Separation confirmed.
Okay.
And great call out there, and you can actually see The satellites deploying.
They're going to deorbit it. They'll fire the engine and deorbit
there.
it, Atlanta. It'll burn up over the South Pacific.
That confirms 6 of the 14 have deployed.
Yeah, Liquidator. This is a Starlink competitor being launched by SpaceX. I just want to make that very clear.
OneWeb is at Charlie 1 and Charlie 5. Separation confirmed.
Bye, Charlie.
And another couple have been confirmed as well. That is 8 of the 14 in this deployment sequence.
Expected loss of signal, Diego Garcia.
LOS through Diego Garcia here. Guys, I think this might be the new J.J. Abrams movie.
OneWeb is at Alpha 2 and Alpha 6.
Bye-bye, little guy. Bye-bye. Bon voyage.
And a really cool view of that one right there. We did see a satellite drifting away from second stage with callouts on the nets.
No, be honest. OneWeb is
deployment.
Starlink's competition, but SpaceX don't care. They'll launch whoever into space.
We're roughly 30 seconds away from the next set of satellites that will be deployed in this deployment
Mason,
sequence.
Can you believe that, man? Dude, I'd believe it, dude. If somebody in the future, if like future me came up and was like, yeah, they launched those too, I'd be like, I'm not surprised. Interesting LV integration mechanism, not the norm or standard. Mm-hmm. Spoon, they're about the size of a 4-banger. About this big. The size of a 4-banger. Yeah, that's right, Krasnu. Mm-hmm. SpaceX needs money to finance Starlink and everything else, so they're gonna launch the competitor to Starlink to finance Starlink. Dude, you can't make this up. That's really that's hilarious, man.
OneWeb is at Bravo 4 and Bravo 8. Separation confirmed.
Yeah, large mini fridge, Rocket Guy. Yeah, exactly.
Great news, and we did see in the top left-hand corner of the screen another set of satellites have been deployed from the Falcon 9 second stage. And that confirms 12 of the 14 satellites in this deployment sequence. So we are just waiting for a couple more,
that's what I thought.
which should be deploying here shortly.
A paid launch is a paid launch is a paid launch. Indeed. Yeah, Shy. It's good stuff. Rivian or Tesla? Serious question. Yeah, I've answered you like 3 times now, dude. Buy Tesla. Charging network airborne. I've been out of the loop on the Soyuz issues. Do we know how crew is getting home yet? Still haven't made a decision. We should actually hear a decision by tomorrow, maybe the day after, Mason. Ass up, money down, indeed. Competitive relationship. Competitive relationship at its finest, yeah. Oh, what's going on up there? What the frick is that? Top right.
OneWeb is at Alpha 3 and Alpha 7. Separation confirmed.
Huh.
And great call out there. And we also were able to see the last 2 satellites in this deployment sequence drift away from Falcon 9. So with confirmation of successful deployment of the first 14 OneWeb satellites from the second stage, we are heading into a coast phase that contains a blackout period. Our second deployment sequence is scheduled to start around T plus 1 hour and 14 minutes. We should regain connection with our second stage at T plus 1 hour and 17 minutes. And if we do, we'll be sure to confirm the deployments that happened during the blackout period and bring you live coverage of the rest of the second deployment sequence. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if we're able to regain ground station coverage
Never mind NASA Vickers. I don't think that. No, I don't think NASA or Roscosmos will put their crew members at risk. MS-22 is shot, dude. You're not. The secondary cooling loop that's used for cooling the cabin during re-entry is junk. The primary cooling loop is the only reason why they didn't jettison that Soyuz. All right, that 22 is junk. They're either gonna deorbit 22, bring it down autonomously, which it can do, and then launch another Soyuz in its place. Actually, they'd launch MS-23 first and then deorbit 22 to make sure that they don't want to. You don't want to leave people on the station with no ride. That's dangerous. So 22 is shot. No one's coming down on that thing. You'll fry. Look up Soyuz 11. That will happen. I don't know, Celtic. What do you mean? What about a Dragon? Can it carry 7 people? It's not equipped to do that, Nighthound. I mean, they got no ride now, but they could at least get into Soyuz because it's primary cooling loop. They could have a lifeboat from the station in case the station malfunctions, Aquilux. But, yeah. They have no ride home, but they do have a lifeboat. So that's why, like I said, that's how you know that nothing, like, oh, that's so cool. The part that affected the capsule is the secondary ammonia cooling loop, which is what they use for reentry, right? So they have a lifeboat because the primary one still works. The primary one's on the service module, though. Service module gets jettisoned during reentry. Every craft that's up there and docked to the station on a long duration mission, Nova Raptor, is a lifeboat. Yeah. Okay, Nearly Evil. A theoretical question on orbital mechanics. What if 2 objects orbiting Earth collided head on towards each other? Say one was traveling east to west, the other west to east at the same team, and not disintegrate because of the collision, but come to a full stop. Would they fall down vertically? You're talking about something that's the same exact size and the same exact mass hitting each other? It depends on what orbits they're in. The orbits would have to be exactly the same. If you had both of them in a perfect 100 by 100 orbit and they hit each other, same mass, same orbital speed, one has an inclination of 0, the other one has an inclination at 180, yeah, they'd fall. Sure. Seems unlikely, no. Yeah, hence the perfect world with a perfect orbit and a perfect condition. But yeah, the likelihood of that actually happening and them not obliterating each other on contact nearly, or even hitting each other in the first place, is extremely low. But in a perfect world, yeah, sure. But that wouldn't happen since they disintegrate. Yeah, chat, you're right. I don't think you guys understand what perfect world means. Ideal conditions. When you're doing, if anybody's ever taken a physics class and you're trying to solve physics problems, you deal with physics. You answer physics problems that are in ideal conditions or a perfect world. Okay, to understand the base concept of physics. Think about it like Kerbal. Kerbal will teach you a good amount of orbital mechanics, but you're not going to be an expert on orbital mechanics, but it demonstrates the idea. For instance, there's no orbital perturbations. There's no n-body physics in KSP, but it's good enough to get the point across. That's in a perfect world. Orbital mechanics works like that. Good point. I have to wonder what their plan was earlier, like before, if Mir had a similar failure. I mean, honestly, nearly, like, if both of the things were, like, completely indestructible and they hit each other and fell, right? Yeah, what you're describing would happen. Okay, so, say you could somehow, so a semi-perfect world, get those like, say they're 2 cubes of tungsten that are like a meter by or a foot by a foot. So like 30 centimeter by 30. So a 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter cube. And you have these 2 blocks of tungsten hit each other. Honestly, if they hit each other, they would just vaporize. The heat generated, the kinetic energy that is imparted from that impact would generate so much heat, it would just vaporize both of the blocks. Yeah, it turns out most things in the universe, when they start going fast and they meet something, they just heat up and just fizz out. Would said collision potentially be violent for a momentary fusion reaction? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you would fuse tungsten. There would be a tremendous release of energy. All that kinetic energy just getting released all at once. Yeah, you'd fuse a couple atoms, sure. But it would probably fuse it in a way that wouldn't last that long, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to imagine what might be going on in the graveyard orbit zone. Oh, okay. If it was a perfect orbit, how did they not hit each other a half orbit ago? Well, 117, he was saying basically they're perfect opposite orbits. So 100 kilometers by 100 kilometers with an inclination of 0 degrees, and 100 kilometers by 100 kilometers with an inclination of 180 degrees, which means one's going counterclockwise and the other one's going clockwise, and they would hit each other. You can do that. You can do that in space. Okay, but hypothetically, what if there was a third object? Your mom? Well, neutron star. Something like that. What the heck is that, RB? Okay. Question, how does Earth rotation play into the apparent falling path? In our hypothetical? I don't know. Exactly, Yagan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, most of the time when guys in just physics, most of the time in physics, when stuff hits each other or stuff collides at really, really high rates of speed, or, you know, you have a solid hitting a gas like re-entry, yeah, heat. Lots of heat. Yeah. If you're interested in seeing actual, like, really data-driven scenarios regarding this, there is a book. There's a series of books now, actually, by a guy by the name of Randall Munroe. Randall Munroe was an engineer at NASA, and he stopped working at NASA because he decided he wanted to draw internet comics. These internet comics. He has a book, 2 books now, called What If, that explores stupid scenarios like this, and they're fantastic. It's one of the funniest books I've ever read. Yeah. So one of the examples in What If 1 is if you had a hairdryer that had a hairdryer inside of a safe connected to an infinite power source, so the hairdryer just kept heating up the safe, what would happen? Long story short, you ever take one of those rubber bouncy balls and bounce it around and it goes pew, 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 pew. That, but with a safe. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, What If by Randall Munroe. You want to really know? Like another thing that that he discusses in What If is how possible is it to drop a steak from space and have it perfectly seared, cooked from re-entry, which is pretty damn funny. Oh, that book is awesome, man. It's so good. Baseball throw at 0.9C. He talks about that in What If as well. Yeah, you want to vaporize a freaking baseball stadium? Have the pitcher pitch a ball at the speed of light. It'll just vaporize the entire stadium. It would just be a crater. Oh, God. Yeah, 0.95C baseball is awesome, dude. That's a really funny one. I learned a single McDonald's can feed a single Tyrannosaurus Rex in the second one. Yeah, no, it's great. Ablative coating on the steak might taste weird. Actually, Warhawk, that would have been my follow-up question about dropping steaks from orbit. Because basically, I don't want to spoil too much, but the steak ablates, just like a heat shield. It ablates because it's a steak. So now I'm like, How much steak would we have to put on the bottom of a Dragon capsule to make an adequate heat shield? Is organic ablator heat shields a thing? Phenolic impregnated carbon ablator? No. Sirloin. Yeah, exactly, Aqualex, right? There is math for that. Dude, I want a steak heat shield. How thick does it have to be a steak heat shield? Is it gonna be more mass than a carbon ablator?
First stage landing and 2 second stage burns, as well as successful deployment of the first 14 OneWeb satellites. Now, during the blackout period, we should have started our second payload deployment sequence around the T+1 hour 14-minute mark.
Well, after it lands.
Once we regain connection to our second stage shortly, our operators on console should be able to confirm the satellites that deployed during the blackout period, and we should be able to bring you live views of the rest of the 8 satellites set to deploy in this sequence.
It depends on how the steak is positioned, Yarg.
Is coming up in just under a minute from now, where we should be able to regain ground station coverage and provide you live views.
Yarg, how fast would you have to go to cook a steak due to atmospheric heating? So the problem, once again, dude, he discusses this in What If. I'm serious. Read What If. It's awesome. It's such a good book. The problem with steak is that it ablates. It'll ablate and charbroil it on one side, but like a heat shield, it'll only cook one side. It'll be like trying to cook a steak with a flamethrower. You don't have the convection.
Second payload deployment sequence.
There's no convection, so you're not. You basically pan-sear the steak.
And great news, we did have confirmation.
Signal Svalbard.
Okay, got an AOS through Svalbard.
With confirmation of 5 payload deployments.
Hey, bye-bye.
As well as regained ground station coverage, as you can see live there. Satellites drifting away from Falcon 9's second stage.
OneWeb is at Charlie 3 and Charlie 7. Separation confirmed.
That additional 2 satellites confirmed.
I don't know why that makes me laugh so much, Kill. I love science. Science is the best, man. It's so funny.
OneWeb is at Delta 4 and Delta 8. Separation confirmed.
Nope. Bye-bye, little guy.
You can see another set drifting away from the second stage. There is a total of 13 in this deployment sequence.
So funny.
We do have 4 satellites left.
I'm not sure, Everest. Maybe. I also learned what happened.
You're just now joining us. We are in the second deployment sequence of 3.
How about the Gopher planet, Nova?
14 in the first deployment sequence. We have 13 scheduled to deploy in the second deployment sequence.
I actually see it over there, Ian.
So far, we have deployed 9 and are awaiting 4 more satellite deployments in this deployment sequence.
Yeah, Gopher planet.
OneWeb is at Delta 3 and Delta 7. Separation confirmed.
Bye. Go. Go, satellite. Be free.
There as you watch the satellites drift away.
Don't run away from your feelings.
From Falcon 9. That confirms another 2, and we just have 2 more for this deployment sequence.
OneWeb is at Charlie 2 and Charlie 6. Separation confirmed.
Bye-bye.
And as you heard and can visually see on your screen, we've had the last 2 satellites deploy in this deployment sequence. And that confirms successful deployment of all 13 satellites in the second deployment sequence. Now, so far, we've deployed 27 of 40 total satellites in today's mission. Our third and final payload deployment sequence should begin around the T+1 hour and 29-minute mark, but we likely won't have ground station coverage until 3 minutes after the third deployment sequence begins. Now, if we're able to connect to a different ground station earlier, we'll be sure to bring real-time views of deployment in, but for now, relax, enjoy some more Space Tunes.
Okay, I will. I want to see a steak getting cooked in a wind tunnel here. After What If came out, I was contacted by Tom Fisher and Thomas Rees of the University of Manchester researchers studying hypersonic heat transfer. They had finished their wind tunnel experiments early, so they decided to head to the corner store, buy a steak, and gather some data. Video 1. A Sainsbury's 21-day matured beef steak and Mach 5 winds. Recorded using Schlieren imaging to show the hypersonic shockwave. That's so good. I love it. Dude, it actually held up pretty well, man. That's not bad. That's not bad. Has science gone too far? Never! Oh my god, that worked a lot better than I thought it would. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Video 2. The steak and Mach 5 winds, recorded using an infrared thermal camera to show temperature. You can see how the outside gets hot and cooks while the interior stays cold. Bro. Dude, look! It stays cold! It pan-sears it! The math was right! That's so goddamn funny, dude. How do you explain that when your boss walks in? It's for science. Oh my god. Dude, meat shield re-entry. Overall, the results matched the answer in the chapter pretty well. The surface of the steak was cooked by the winds, charred and blasted away, while the interior stayed cold and raw. Conclusion: this is not a great way to cook steak. So thank you to Tom Fisher and Thomas Rees, who, despite splattering the interior of a research wind tunnel with bits of raw and cooked steak, were not kicked out of their university and both successfully got their PhDs. Dude, that's so funny. Steak meat shield. Not a heat shield, a meat shield. Dude, that's actually holding up pretty well. I don't know, Blinga. I can't believe how well it's holding up. It's actually doing okay. You'd expect it to just get blasted away right away, but that's actually ablating. That's ablative steak. That's really funny, man. I don't know why that's... I don't know. Oh my god. I don't know why that's so funny. Hear me out. Grid fins during re-entry, and now you can evenly cook. I mean, you get some nice char lines there for sure. Griddle fins. Oh my god. Griddle fins. Griddle fins. Griddle fins on our meat shield re-entry. Oh my god, what's the uptime? Yeah, okay. Griddle me this! Griddle fins and meat shield. Oh my gosh. Yeah, right, Shy? Pretty crazy, huh? Oh my goodness. Super sirloin retro propulsion. Oh, we got some outgassing from the second stage there. About 3 minutes until the last batch of satellites to be deployed. That needs to be a t-shirt. Griddle fins and meat shield. Although, how would you turn your steak underneath the grid fins? You'd have to tie it to it. You'd have to use like titanium wire to make sure the wire holds the steak in place to give you a nice pan sear. Wouldn't that be the grill fins? Yeah, but griddle fins. But griddle fins. Yes, you're right. Yes, but it would only cook one side. Actually, Salyut, if the grid fin is, so like this is the grid fin. Say we're looking at the grid fin from the side. If you put the steak here, yeah, it would only cook one side. But, if you put the steak longitudinal in the grid fin and manage to sandwich it in one of the squares vertically, it would cook both sides. True story. No, it would. It absolutely would. How the grid fin cuts the air would sear both sides. I'm pretty damn sure, actually. You'd have to get it to stay centered inside of one of the grid fin squares. But if you could hold that in place, dude, it'd cook both sides. Because the grid fin has spikes on one side. So those spikes are designed to break up the air at hypersonic speeds, right?
Expected loss of signal, Svalbard.
LOS through Svalbard. So what happens is that you get a little mini boundary layer going through those little squares on the grid fins. A boundary layer that's like that. So 2 of these boundary layers hit each other inside of the squares on that grid fin. So if you could mount the steak right where the 2 boundary layers cross, you could cook both sides of that steak. Oh yeah, you give it a nice pan sear. Oh yeah, that would work.
And acquisition of signal in Kodiak.
We have an AOS through Kodiak over there. Might taste a little like lighter fluid. Yeah. It's just the marinade, guys. It's just the marinade. Okay, so we know about cooking steak during re-entry, but what about sun searing it during EVA on orbit? I think you'd only heat up one side, Aqualex. What you'd have to do is get a big metal plate. Big metal plate, and then put the steak on the plate, and then mount that outside. Yeah, that would work. Is T-tab coated steak even edible? Maybe. What's that, Mutter? The historic first attempt to launch satellite. Oh, we got an update from Virgin Orbit here. The historic first attempt to launch satellites from British soil reached space late last night, but okay. I'll let this cast
16
go,
mission
we'll check
webcast. We're coming up on the 3rd and final payload deployment sequence, which should deploy another 13 OneWeb
That's why you put it
satellites.
on the metal plate, Pythos.
Looks like we do have a live view there. So we will just wait for the operators on console to confirm callouts.
Actually, guys, a better way, not just a metal plate, you'd want it in literally take an oven, put the steak in the oven, and pressurize the inside of the oven at 1 bar.
Set Echo 3 and Echo 7.
And then put that on the
confirmed.
outside of the space station. It'll naturally convect the oven for you.
Awesome, and we did get the
That's how you cook a steak
confirmation
in space.
of 2 satellites deploying.
Barbecue roll. You serious about missing that opportunity? Well, I don't know how you're going to apply barbecue
That
sauce when
confirms
you're
a total of
EVAing,
29
man.
that have deployed
But
so
yes,
far.
yeah, that could work. Yeah, slow rolling the stake actually, yeah, the Aqualex, that actually would work, but yes. Hey, Sneaky. Sneaky, you want to see a blade of steak? Yeah, a blade of steak. Oh, you think I'm kidding? Steak is actually a pretty damn good heat
Bravo
shield.
3, separation confirmed.
Yeah, steak. It's actually a pretty good heat shield.
And great news, we did have confirmation of another 2 satellites deploying. Again, this is the 3rd deployment sequence of 3.
Yeah, an ablative meat shield. Not heat shield, meat shield.
That puts us at 31 satellites having deployed so far.
OneWeb, Sat Delta 1 and Delta 5, separation confirmed.
Delta 1 and Delta 5? What happened to 2, 3, and 4?
Great news, another 2 satellites have deployed.
Yeah, woman, that's right. How aerodynamic is Sandy's rocket from SpongeBob? It would fly pretty well at hypersonic speeds, Nova. Fairings are actually curved on the top like that on purpose to move the boundary layer, to change the angle of that boundary layer. Yeah, to minimize heating on the fairing.
And expected loss of signal, Kodiak.
LOS through Kodiak.
And we did just hear a call out that we did have an expected loss of signal. That means we do not have ground station coverage. We will wait to regain ground station coverage and confirm any deployments that are happening during this blackout period once we regain ground station
OneWeb,
coverage.
Sat Echo 8, separation confirmed.
So now,
great news. There you can see on your screen.
OneWeb, Sat Echo 4, separation confirmed.
So
several satellites drifting away from
Nova
Falcon
Raptor,
9.
you're asking me about how a cartoon rocket works in a cartoon about undersea aquatic life being sentient and talking. And one of them is a squirrel that lives underwater from Texas. And you're telling me you draw the line at the rocket being inaccurate because it has a propeller. I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. Still no pickles! What, somebody step on a duck? Hellfish, I don't hate that. Is that the moon? Mm-hmm.
OneWeb, Sat Delta 2 and Delta 6, separation confirmed.
Delta 2.
And again, as you can see on your screen, as well as hearing that call out, another 2 satellites have deployed from Falcon 9's second stage. That is 36 total out of the 40. We have 4 more satellites left to deploy.
Hellfish, you know what, dude? I don't hate that. I really don't. I think that looks awesome, actually. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Yeah, that's a P-38 Lightning Raptor 22. Yeah, I don't hate that.
Acquisition of signal, South Texas.
Hey, they have a AOS through South
now
Texas.
Joining
Let's
us,
check
you
something.
are watching the OneWeb Launch 16 mission. And we are currently in the 3rd deployment sequence out of 3. This is the final deployment sequence for
fellas.
the 40 satellites. So far, we have deployed 36.
One of the tracking antennas is tilted.
We have 4 more left.
OneWeb, Sat Echo 2 and Echo 6,
That-
separation confirmed.
That tracking antenna is tracking the OneWeb launch. That's cool. Look at it turn. That's a P-22 Lightning Raptor. Yeah, you're right. It just came over the horizon, Maverick. A PF-60F. Yep. Have I seen this?
OneWeb, Sat Echo 1 and Echo 5, separation confirmed. All 40 OneWeb satellite separations confirmed.
With a live view out in
Stormy,
space,
what's going on with
you can
you?
see the last two satellites drifting away
that's tracking
from
the
Falcon 9
look.
second
It's
stage.
tracking the
And have you
second
heard?
stage.
That does confirm successful deployment of all 41 OneWeb satellites. Now, all of us here at
41?
SpaceX want to give a big thank you to our customer OneWeb for
41
entrusting
James
us
Webb
with
satellites?
today's mission. We also want to give a shout out to the Range and Federal Aviation Administration for supporting
Look,
today's mission.
that
Tonight's
tracking
launch
antenna is
concludes
tracking
our
that second stage.
201st overall SpaceX mission to date and
See?
second launch of the year. Thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in and your continued support.
They'll deorbit it,
Have a
Limey.
great night, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Jesse. See? Look, that tracking antenna. That's tracking the second stage. So that they had said acquisition of signal through South Texas. There you go. They had an AOS from that antenna right there. That the South Texas tracking site is at Starbase. That's awesome, Stormy. You're 3.5 miles, give or take, from the tripod. That's cool. So why are you ignoring the possibility of lard-based propellants? So, Maverick, let me get this straight. You want to make propellants out of lard, which is fat, right? Oils. Oils. Lard LOX engine. Lard doesn't have that good of a specific impulse. I guarantee you the impulse of lard is very bad. Yep, see? They're tracking it. So if you guys want to make it run off grease or oils, why don't we just make it run off kerosene, which is also an oil. What fuel will combust with liquid nitrogen? Liquid nitrogen. Okay, Nova, I'm sending that one back. Rethink that question, okay? I'm sending that one back. I know it's late. I'm sending that one back to you, okay? Yep, see? See, that antenna's moving. That's tracking that second stage. Did you see the paraffin SRB? I sent it to you on Insta. And paraffin worked perfectly. Why not lard? I'm not saying it doesn't work, Salute. I'm saying there are better ways to do it. It'll absolutely work. Oh, yeah. LOX will make stuff explode really well. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. But the thing is, we're talking about total impulse here. There's not good total impulse from lard. You're going to get better impulse from kerosene. Because there's more hydrogen in it. And it explodes better. Negative, Kelly. Yeah, see? Tracking that second stage. Do we get an update? Yeah, sure. I just kind of want to watch that dish keep moving, Beth. Here, look. Ready? See? That's tracked. That's just tracked the OneWeb launch. Look, hey, that's cool. Sun is back. That guy really got to shine his brights right at the damn camera. Yeah, it's tracking OneWeb, DJ. Yeah. That mission that we just got through watching, the satellite deploying. That thing is tracking that second stage. It's cool. That's a good way to end the mission. That's really neat. Okay, cool. All right, fellas. We're going to cap off the stream with this. We got an update from Virgin. Let's see. Historic UK mission reaches space, falls short of orbit. Newquay, United Kingdom. The historic first attempt to launch satellites from British soil reached space late last night, but ultimately fell short of reaching its target orbit. After successfully taking off from the runway at Spaceport Cornwall, which just a few weeks ago was transformed from a mere slab of empty cement at a commercial airport to the world's newest space launch operations center, and traveling to the designated drop zone, Cosmic Girl, the customized 747 that serves as Launcher 1 system carrier aircraft, successfully released the rocket. The rocket then ignited its engines, quickly going hypersonic and successfully reaching space. The flight then continued through successful stage separation and ignition at the second stage. However, at some point during the firing of the rocket's second stage engine, with the rocket traveling at a speed of more than 11,000 miles an hour, the system experienced an anomaly, ending the mission prematurely. Though the mission did not achieve its final orbit, by reaching space and achieving numerous significant first-time achievements, it represents an important step forward. The effort behind the flight brought together new partnerships and integrated collaboration from a wide range of partners, including the UK Space Agency, the Royal Air Force, the Civil Aviation Authority, the FAA, and the National Reconnaissance Office, and more, and demonstrated that space launch is achievable from UK soil. Out of 5 Launcher 1 missions carrying payloads for private companies and government agencies, this is the first to fall short, delivering its payloads to their precise target orbit. Okay. So just over 11,000 miles an hour, huh? 12 minutes, 23 seconds. Met time. That's right when the telemetry started going bananas. The 747 took off from southwest England, Warhawk, and flew out over the Atlantic just south of Ireland. It went great until it didn't. Wait, when did we do this? This afternoon, Rec? Don't worry, it blew up. Seriously, the telemetry starts looking like an EKG. Just doop, 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 doop. And then the altimeter reads 48 billion miles, and then the speed goes to the speed of light. 25 quintillion, and then it goes to 0, and then they're like, yep, we lost it. It crack and drive, yeah. No, it looks like, so that, if they know that it reached 11,000 miles an hour, guys, that telemetry up until that point was that means it was okay. There's no other way for them to know. That means the telemetry that we're seeing is more or less close enough. At least I'm pretty damn sure. Meaning that they had a drop in lock. Something went wrong with the LOX feed lines because the LOX did not work. So the telemetry looks like a typical ride out in the field. Yeah. It's not good. Here we go. So take a look. Here we go. Yeah, you see that wreck? That's weird. Okay, you see that? The speed just doesn't drop 500 miles an hour and then go back up. That's weird. Something is wrong. Something weird happens with this trajectory here. You guys tell me, okay? Yeah, yeah, no, that's... Yep. Yeah, yep, there. Yeah, that actually happened on the stream. Yep, that's... I'm pretty sure that's not what the rocket is doing. I'm pretty sure that's not gone correct. It's gone to plaid. So look, that means some of this telemetry is okay if they were able to read the speed. Okay. So everything starts going haywire at 12:23 right there. See the acceleration map? That yeah, see the acceleration going through the roof? That means it looks like the accelerometer or the IMUs on this thing read an acceleration past 5.5 G, but it was only for a second. And then everything started to get hazy. So, and then the plugin crashed like a second later. Yeah, that's enough airspeed to cook a steak. That's enough airspeed to cook a steak. Yeah, it is, Jackal. Yeah, it is, Jackal. Yeah, it is, Jackal. Yeah, I threw an extra one in there because, yeah, it is. All right. That spike in the speed was all the kebabs the UK population have eaten over the course of one pub crawl in one night. Kebabs. So are you, Kelly. Got him. So, yeah, that's... Rocket was listening to Hell's Bells, yeah. So we'll end the stream with this tweet here. Let's take a look. SpaceX had 4 rockets on 4 pads and 2 Dragons on orbit today. As CRS-26 Dragon departed the space station with the Crew 5 Dragon still attached to the orbiting lab, Falcon Heavy rolled out of the hangar, 2 Falcon 9s ready for launch, and Ship 24 was stacked on Booster 7. Yeah, Nuggets, yeah, for sure. It's too early for that. I thought there was something wrong. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry, man. So, again. I like that first one. That's... Dude, it's going to be wild when that thing flies. Mario. Alright, anyway. Alright, dudes. That's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys at noontime tomorrow. We'll finish flat packing the station and we'll launch. We should be good to launch. Do we have any other... I don't think there's any other launches. Except for the RS-1 test launch tomorrow at 5 and the Starlink launch that got scrubbed at 11. Okay, cool. We got 2 launches tomorrow. Sweet. Flat pack the payloads. RS-1 is not going to be streamed, so I don't care. It's not that I don't care. It's just not going to be streamed, so we can't really cover it. And we should be clear skies, clear range, and a clear skies all the way to 11 o'clock. Wait, aren't you staying up for Dragon re-entry? Yeah, Mason, I'll see you there. Good night. Thanks for watching, everybody.